my skin so gorgeous. We thank the life gorgeous. Thank the life gorgeous. I love the life gorgeous. Its torso is so tight.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Life Gorgeous Craigers, where I share my magical life in hopes of improving your life. It's always exciting when we have a first-time guest. I get to play the Life Gorgeous quiz, top 5 movies of all time. It's John Buccigross, ESPN. We've never met, sir. Nice to meet you.
That is hard to believe that we've never met. Where our paths didn't cross at ESPN. I got hired October 28th, 1996. You had exited prior to that, but it's a huge honor. You're on my Mount Rushmore of Sports Center anchors.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yes. For me, in terms of shaping my young careers, Chris Berman, just his love of sports, the everyday love. Keith Olbermann, how he wrote baseball nerd-centric lead-ins, which at the time I was kind of in that lane. And then certainly no one wrote funnier lead-ins in the history of Sports Center than you. And I remember back in the 1 a.m. Sports Center when they would take that kind of like blimp shot in the corner of the studio. Whenever you see two anchors, you never knew then who was going to do the show, even though. But when I saw your face and they dissolved to that 2 shot, it was like a kid in Christmas morning. So I thank you for the years of entertainment.
It's always nice to hear that. Just this week, Stephen A. Smith was on The Daily Show, and the Daily Show called me to do a voiceover of a humorous biography of Stephen A. Smith and his yelling. And that was fun. But it's a pleasure to meet you. And it was a different time back in the 90s.
Yes.
And they did, as Bob Costas told me when I met him in the 90s, he watched the the repeats every morning. So although I was recording at 2 a.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. live West Coast, they repeated it all morning long.
Till noon, correct.
Yeah, so that was fun. Now, this is all I know about you, and I like diving into this. You're a hockey guy, you're a great golfer, and you like chicken parm. So we're just going to dive into those and watch how the questions flow here.
I like stereotypes.
Yeah, you sent a picture of a jump shot yesterday.
Yes.
To acknowledge that you got the email from me for the invite. And my joke I was going to write was, so you're going to miss the podcast because you're missing that shot. But I didn't do that. Did that shot go in? Do we know?
I do know. I tell people it went in. It was an out of bounds play from under the basket. And that I played for Steubenville Catholic Central, Steubenville, Ohio, home of Jimmy the Greek and Dean Martin, your kind of guy.
Yeah.
We're playing the Jefferson Union Yellow Jackets, and that thing was perfectly in line with the left part of the rim and the right part of the rim, and it went completely over. It was a long air ball, air ball.
Yeah.
It was.
If it helps you a little bit, I had a 3-point contest against Steve Kerr. I wasn't supposed to do it. I was supposed to referee Kenny Smith, and he called in sick, and I had gone out the night before, but I had never taken the ball off the rack. And I realized, as much as I love the game, I don't practice baseline jump shots. And my first shot,
never liked them.
Yeah. I pulled off the rack, and I was excited. So I said, Larry, and it was an air ball over the basket baseline. But anyway, I warmed up a little bit on the second rack. So it looks like, what did you average as a senior in high school?
We had a good team, made the Sweet 16 in Ohio, a big state.
Yeah.
I averaged like 9.2.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. I was a 6'3" 2 guard because we were a big team. I could handle the ball. I could shoot from the outside, shoot free throws. I didn't turn the ball over. Dependable guy. So yeah, I had a good senior. I could dunk my senior year. So,
yeah, that's right. You are 6'4".
6'4". So I'm in that rare category. I have dunked a basketball and gotten a hole in one. But even a smaller category, I've dunked a basketball and got a hole in one in a par 4. There can't be many people in the history of Western civilization who've done those two things and anchored Sports Center. So then that third one.
You're you're a unique young man.
I'm different.
So you started in high school, obviously.
That senior year, yes.
So what I don't understand is I fell in love with basketball. My dad wanted my brother and I to play baseball. My dad was from New York. He loved Willie Mays, but we took to hoops. We were just good. And I started in
Yeah.
second grade. Uh, I did play hockey. I'll tell you about that. But when did you fall in love with hockey or like hockey? Or was that just a thing at ESPN where they said, we want you to do this, so you immersed yourself?
No, unlike most American kids who grew up in the 70s and 80s, we love basketball, baseball, football. I just happen to also love hockey as much because my dad was born and raised in South Boston, Massachusetts. So Bobby Orr and the Bruins are the most popular team in Boston at the time, late 60s, early 70s. He's a man in his late 30s. I'm a young, impressionable guy who would, at my dad's hip pocket, I always tell people if my dad sold crack in the 80s, I would have grown up being a crack salesman. But thankfully, he was a Sears store manager, played slow pitch softball, and loved sports. So
Right.
therefore, that's outside of being a Sears store manager. They went bankrupt. I played sports, loved sports, watched sports, consumed sports, always at his hip. And so that's why, because of him and he would listen to Boston Bruins games on the radio in the 70s because
Oh, wow.
there were 4 games a year on it, the NHL and CBS and Tim Ryan. So we would listen to games on the radio, and that's how. And when you listen to a game on the radio, Craig, you invent the game in your head.
Yeah.
It was a gothic, like My Chemical Romance video combined with church. Because you walk into a church and there's an organ, there's that organ music, like all
Yeah.
the arena. It was like a hockey arena. There's a guy up there. There's violence. Time you walk in, there's a guy in the cross. There's a murder scene in church, and that's when
Wow.
you walk in, and you're a young guy. And so to me, hockey and church had the same. It was the same thing to me, and we went every Sunday. And so it was a gothic, violent thing that I listened to these games on the radio. And now you go back and look at the video, it's like I guess it really wasn't that bad. I mean, the guy
Right.
took a few,
Right.
but as a kid, a 9-year-old kid listening to this game on the radio, you think it's like a dungeon of violence going on in there, like they throwing in those old movies when they threw those guys in those big fire pit holes in those Roman movies,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. That's what I grew up on. Very violent upbringing.
So because we took a transfer, my dad took a transfer to Minnesota when I was in kindergarten, and I played hockey, and then they said the guy they had the shed near the outdoor rink. It was heated. He goes, you got to make a choice, Kilborn, basketball or hockey, because in the same season. And I was probably in third or fourth grade, and I was so good in basketball. So he just said, if you're not committed here, you got to just leave. So I said, I got it. I just left because I knew basketball was my sport.
Yeah.
But a couple things about hockey. This is for the 70s.
Yes.
There was a guy who I heard was the fastest skater of all, or he was the fastest skater at the time. I did this 5-question with Dennis Leary. He didn't get it because he's a big hockey fan, but I wanted to impress him with this. But do you remember in the 70s, was there a guy, maybe he was known as the fastest skater, but maybe I'm remembering it as one of the fastest skaters. I give you a hint on his team. Did you follow hockey in the 70s or not?
I'm thinking you're thinking Yvonne Cornway.
That's correct. That's who it is.
Because his nickname was the Road Runner. Yes. So
Yeah.
I'm talking. My hockey knowledge is
very good.
It worked out to be a great niche at ESPN because the line was short over there and I got in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Been there 28 years now.
Yvonne Cornway,
the Road Runner, Montreal. Yep.
Yeah, Montreal Canadiens. And here's I think this one might be tougher, maybe not.
Okay.
So I had a favorite player.
Okay.
And it was not on the North Stars. He was on the Rangers.
Okay.
He was the center for the Rangers in the 70s. I can give you his number.
Probably Jean Rattel.
Jean Rattel.
Yes.
Jean Rattel. I liked him.
Number 10.
Number 19, actually.
Number 19. Yeah, number 10 with 10 with the Bruins. He got traded to the Bruins in the big Phil Esposito trade.
And he won the what's the
Lady Bing.
The Lady Bing sportsmanship.
He looked like a senator on the ice. He had the hair part on the side, no helmet for Jean Rattel.
Correct.
He looked like a state senator.
Yeah. You mentioned radio. It's so growing up in Minnesota, we got somehow we got San Antonio Spurs games, and I think the guy's name was Terry Stemridge or something, play-by-play, but he would wax poetic about the Iceman.
George Gervin.
And you got to tell me about this guy. Sports rate. Oh yeah, that's the Iceman. He had that shot. Very soft touch. He'd bank it and it would swish.
Feet together.
Yeah.
Street pencil.
Did you ever hear of a guy, sports radio guy from Cleveland, 3WE, Pete Franklin?
Yes.
I used to listen to him.
It's
And
amazing that you could get in the radio, the stations you get far away.
And he would get so mad when a young kid would call, "How come Bobby Bingo Smith isn't playing more? How old are you?" I'm 12. Shut up and go pick your face. And he'd hang up on him. He'd say, "Go pick your face," if it was a teenager calling in. I don't know if you listened to sports radio growing up.
I did. Get Jim Chones more playing time, please.
Yeah, exactly. So let me go to golf. Are you close to a scratch golfer?
I used to be. I got as low as a 1.3. So I actually did a couple U.S. Open qualifiers. You have to be, I think, a 1.7 to
Wow.
attempt to qualify for the U.S. Open. I missed by like 3 or 4 shots to get to the second stage. I know I could never get to the U.S. Open, but I thought it'd be cool to get the second stage and maybe play with Brad Faxon, who's trying to get into the U.S. Open. I would never be able to play 36 in one day and shoot 2 under. But yeah, now I'm like a 6 handicap. So
Okay.
I guess 78 to 82,
Yeah.
But yeah, my prime was 30 to 43. That was my prime golf years in terms of playing well. So I love the sport, love the history, love everything about it. Love playing a course for the first time. Like for
Yeah.
you, going to a new restaurant for the first time, it makes you feel
Yeah.
like you're 12-year-old. And for me, that golf course for the first time, I'm going to Ireland in a month and playing
Wow.
3 or 4 courses I've never played before, and I just can't wait to wake up that day and feel that feeling even before I get to the course of playing these new courses.
How many times a week do you play?
Not much. I don't belong anywhere right now, so I work in spurts. Right now, I just completed a 5 rounds and 8-day stretch. But now
Wow.
I might not play again for 10 days. So not much until Ireland, when then we play 6 days in a row. So yeah, presently I don't play a lot of golf as it is.
And when did you start playing?
I moved from Western Pennsylvania. My dad's Sears store manager, moved about every 7 years. Moved at age 11. What tough move, because I had a lot of friends in Pennsylvania. Moved to Steubenville, Ohio, and luckily he moved across the street from a golf course. I snuck on the
Wow.
first year and played. 11 years old. So shooting hoops and playing golf, you can do those by yourself. So
Right.
you get a good jump shot, which I don't think shooting a basketball is difficult. I haven't shot a ball in 6 months. I can go to the YMCA here and just start raining threes right away. Like you don't
Right.
lose a jump shot, right? You haven't
Yeah.
lost your jump shot.
No, it brings up a topic about how bad I am in golf and why I don't play anymore. But
Hmm.
let me ask you this. Why I find it a little odd that some guys are good in golf and some guys aren't. And I'll give you an example. Peyton Manning, Tom Brady,
Hmm.
superior quarterbacks to what's the guy, the Cowboys who works with Jim Nance,
Tony Romo.
Tony Romo. Why is Tony Romo superior to those guys as a golfer? What's the rhyme or reason to that?
I think because it means more to him. Like it's a life obsession. He wakes up thinking about golf. I don't think those other 2 guys wake up thinking about golf. Like I said, they love golf. They play golf. Brady played, I think, more than Manning as a kid. But I think Romo, it's his whole life, and that's what some golfers are. And that's why they're good. They tinker, they think about it, and they're always thinking about improving. And I just don't think Manning, although Manning now probably it's health wise. You reach a certain age, your body can't do what it could do before. That's why my game has slipped. The back's a little stiff, can't quite swing like you used to, can't play as much. So, and plus, I've lost a little bit of my competitiveness. I was fueled by anger and hate as a young 9-year-old playing fifth grade basketball for East Pike in Indiana, Pennsylvania. I was ultra competitive. And so
Yeah.
that's what drove me. And for you and me, one reason why hockey is not our sport, we're long limbed. Hockey's a
Yeah.
short limbed sport, right? It's short
Yeah.
and powerful. Our bodies are for swimming, wearing suits, playing golf, looking good at a bar with a jacket
Yes.
and a
There we
bourbon.
go. Yeah.
We look good in sport coats. That's what we do. That's our strength.
Oh, we'll be talking alcohol. So
Hmm.
I want to go back because this is helpful for me, cathartic for me. I'm a bad golfer and I
Hmm.
played a little bit growing up. And I thought, oh, because you're tall, then I know Bill Lambier he can hit the ball. Here's the weird thing. And I'll just tell you, I'm glad I don't play
Hmm.
anymore because it was frustrating. Because
Yeah.
I'd start once I went to ESPN, I got invited to celebrity tournaments.
Yes.
So I'm on the basketball court. I was always very coordinated. I played point guard. I could pass. I also played shooting guard. I jumped center. I did the whole thing. I could,
Right.
a little like Pistol Pete, very coordinated, stiff back, stiff. My coach at Montana State, we were stretching. He said, I was 19. He goes, you had the body of a 42-year-old, tight hamstrings. So
Yeah,
my thing
same.
is, I could not, I can go to a golf course and guys will tell me how to swing. I go, yeah, I already know that. But when I do it, it's stiff and my downswing is stiff. And I'm glad I don't play anymore. So I don't know. I think it's more of a physical thing. What you said, Tony Romo wants it more. I think his body is a little different than Peyton Manning's.
Oh, absolutely.
And some guys can have that little fluid golf swing. So that's how I rationalize, because I had to work on my jump shot. And once I got it down, you never lose it. The elbow's tucked. So many variables in a golf swing. Releasing your hips too early. Of course, I'm going to release them early. I'm tight. I'm going to release my hips early. So here's the fun, John. I was taking lessons. I was working local TV in Monterey, the 110 market, Salinas, Santa Cruz, Monterey.
Good market.
And the golf pro took a liking to me at one of the courses there. And he went to the driving range. He says, pull it back halfway and roll your wrists. And man, I was taking a 5-iron and just snapping it on the driving range. But I said, I'm not playing Pebble. I got an invite to play Pebble. I knew the golf pro there. And I said, I'm not playing until I get to be comfortable. And then I got the job at ESPN. I go, okay, I got to play Pebble. Parred the first 2 holes.
Yeah.
And then number 7, hit it 2 feet away. I said, are you going to give me that? He goes, no. So I was shaking and I knocked it in for a birdie. So I birdied number 7.
Wow. I also birdied that hole the one time I played it.
That's what I wanted to ask you, if you played Pebble, and what did you think?
I played it. So me and buddies, 2006 out there, and we're the second group off. I mean, that's pretty cool. My buddy worked at the Golf Channel at the time. So we get there and the guy goes, hey, you guys want to go first? The group first isn't here yet. I go, we'd love to. First off at Pebble, these rounds take 8 hours because everyone takes 1 million pictures.
Yeah.
So we're first, beautiful day, 72 and sunny. I just birdie 7. I'm walking up 8. I get tears in my eyes. There's an ocean. There's a mountain.
Yeah.
It's the most beautiful place in the world.
Correct.
And so I have a good day. I shoot 76. This is when I was still good. And get in the pro shop. And actually midway through the round, I look over. I go, is that Billy Hatcher? Is that Tom Hume? What happened was the Reds had played a game in Cincinnati, red-eyed to San Francisco, took a limo, sprinted to Pebble. Someone got a tee time for them. They were late, so we jumped in front of them. All day long, we're one group ahead. It's Aaron Harang, David Weathers, Tom Hume, pitching coach at the time, and Billy Hatcher, I think it was the third base coach. So that was my round at Pebble, just in front of the Cincinnati Reds. And birdie number sandwich right over the flag. I still have the picture. And people ask me, what's your favorite course? I said, well, I played Pebble first off on a perfect day, and I'll never supersede that experience.
Yeah, it's my favorite place in the world, Carmel. A lot of times, obviously, it's overcast. I like it because it's moody.
Yeah.
Carmel gets the clouds and it's moody in the fog. But when it is sunny out there, it is a joke at how beautiful it is. And did you play any other courses there or not?
Played Spyglass the day before.
Cool.
Deer running across the fairway like Chevy Chase was cueing them in Funny Farm. Remember that? Cue the deer. He's trying to sell the house, and that was gorgeous. And we played Olympic down in San Francisco and Harding Park. It was a great 5-day California trip. And but didn't play Monterey and I got to play Cypress. I tell people. Yeah. I've been lucky. I played most of the great courses in America, but haven't played Cypress and haven't played Augusta. And those are the two that obviously I'd love to play at some point before I'm too old.
So I've taken a few of my former girlfriends up to Carmel, and we go to Spanish Bay and we have a drink outside of Roy's. There's the bagpiper playing. There's the bagpiper. There's sunset. We've got a drink here. We got a fire pit. Oh, here come the deer. And she said, are they queuing? Is this a setup?
It's a setup.
Once you see the deer, it is so magical, and
it really is.
Have you visited Carmel much or just that one time?
No, that was it. That one time. And I have options and invitations. I must take advantage of it again, but I agree. Kerm Edwards is a local resident. He's invited me out there, but haven't done it yet.
Nance has a home out there in Pebble Beach,
He
and
does.
with a one of the holes might even I don't even know which hole it was, but he has he replicates one of the holes from Pebble Beach.
Yeah, I think it's 7 because it is a
It
downhill
is.
little
That's
par
what I
3.
thought. That's what I
Yeah.
thought. So I don't understand. Again, I see your Instagram. I follow you.
We
Do you eat
follow
a
each
lot?
other.
Yeah, we follow each other. Do you eat a lot of red meat?
I do. I have a steak
Okay.
almost every day.
Okay, that's stunning to me. Now, it's admirable, but I spread out my red meat. Red meat is not supposed to be that great for your heart.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, maybe you don't believe that. I have a friend who's like I spread out my eggs. I don't eat egg. And a
I have
guy
4 every morning. I have 4.
okay, that's stunning because this guy says he has like 4 or 5 every day. So
Yeah.
okay,
6
what's
grams of protein an egg.
okay, so what's your perspective on the protein, the cholesterol, the health benefits? You know, you don't think it's dangerous? Obviously, you wouldn't do it.
Oh, it's health food. It's actually eggs and meat are health food. That's what people don't understand. The amount of minerals and vitamins in both is just astounding. But it's funny how the narrative and back in the late 60s, they paid off those Harvard researchers to say that saturated fat was bad, and they pumped that's when the diet everything came into play, right? Diet salad dressing. So people have these nice salads and they pump this salad dressing on filled with sugar and
Yeah,
artificial stuff. And as it turned out, that's bad for you. That's when the
right.
whole obesity train started. So no, I'm a big believer in real food and protein. And so, yeah, and I very simple. I pretty much eat eggs, steak, and fish. That's pretty much what it comes down to. Again, that's what I
Right.
subsist on for the most part. I'm here in Plymouth, Massachusetts, so the seafood is fresh. The
Yeah.
scallops, I like, and I actually got into cooking too. I love to cook my own food. I make an amazing scallop, and I make my steak and my chicken parm, and which is a treat. Obviously, that's a bit of a treat. That's
Yeah.
maybe 2 or 3 times a month I'll make the chicken parm. But yeah, I keep it pretty simple. Fruit in the morning,
Yeah.
eggs,
Yeah.
steak at either lunch or dinner, and that's how I roll. And so far, so good. We'll
O-
see.
Obvious question is how's your cholesterol?
Last time I went, it's a little high, but I believe that a good cholesterol level, Craig, is good for brain health. I think it's good for our brains and keeps us sharp. And I'm a believer in that. So the doctor was a little concerned; it was a little high, but hey, I've been in this business now 36 years. I didn't call in sick my first job 5 years, second job for 2 years. ESPN, I've called in sick in 28 years, 3 times, twice because I lost my voice and they told me to go home. So
Yeah.
I've never spent a night in the hospital, never broken a bone. So I've been, and I'm 59 and a half, my Roth IRA age, I call it, I get that tax-free Roth now in 2 more months. I got a check coming, tax-free. So, and I've been, so even if if I were to die next Thursday, I've had a great life of 60 very healthy years. And
Right.
so, and the first 40, I subsisted on Fruity Pebbles, so I mean,
Oh,
I made that switch from cereal about 6 years ago. I would have 2 to 3 bowls a day my first 52 to 53 years of my life. And I'm still here to talk
fascinating.
about it. Yeah.
So you don't take statins then?
Don't take statins. I don't want to
Mhm.
take statins. I don't think they're long term good for you. So I
Yeah.
hope somehow I avoid it. So I haven't had to take. I haven't even. The doc hasn't even offered that or even
Uh,
suggested that yet.
Okay. Yeah, I don't take statins. I flirted with it, but I
Yeah.
take krill oil and I take some other things. I do eat a lot of salmon, so I pick my spots because I get food from Omaha
Wild,
Steaks.
wild
What's that?
caught or farm raised. That's the
Well,
problem, right? Because
yeah, well,
they feed them in farms with corn and crap. So you're not eating
yeah,
salmon anymore. You're eating corn in the cob.
yeah. I eat both.
Yep.
I've found that most of the restaurants serve farm raised,
Yeah.
but I also listen. I love trout. I made some the other night with some
Mm,
capers and some
mm,
white wine, garlic.
mm.
And have you ever heard of sand dabs?
No.
Okay. My friend, California, we have them at these restaurants. It's a fish, but they're really lightly floured and sautéed
Mm.
sand dabs, really tasty. And our friend from, I don't know if you remember Albert Scooter Vertino. but
No.
he worked at ESPN as a PA. Now he's a top executive at Turner Sports, and we stay in touch. And he loves sand dabs. So
Wow.
when
I'm gonna
you're on the
Google
West
that.
Coast, next time you're on the West Coast, they
Okay.
probably they serve them at a lot of different places.
Well, I'm doing the NHL draft at the end of the month in Los Angeles. I will try to find some sand dabs.
Yeah, there are a couple places. There's an Italian place called Vito in Santa Monica
Okay.
that serves sand dabs.
Mm.
So many good restaurants. I'll give you a list if you want
Yes,
of
please
places
do.
in LA. Wait, I got more on the red meat. I did want to say I really liked what you said. I don't have a sweet tooth and I don't like sugar, and it's in so much of our foods. It sounds like after you got done with the cereal, then you don't have a sweet tooth anymore, or what do you think?
Oh, I do have a sweet tooth. Like, I mean, if I let myself go, I love a post dinner when you're out with your buddies to I get the dessert every time.
Yeah,
Usually cheesecake. I like cheesecake and a glass of brown. I am in heaven,
yeah,
and I like to share it. I never eat the whole. I always like to share, two or three, just a couple bites. I don't eat a lot,
right.
you know. But no, I do love chocolate, and but I try to not eat as much now, but I do. So when I ever eat these things, they are treats. They are moments in time, and I enjoy. But no, I do have a sweet tooth, and Laffy Taffy, banana flavored. Come on, I could eat 74 of them.
I mean, I do. My significant other, Princess Cherry, has a sweet tooth. So we like cheesecake. She likes tiramisu.
Yep, always also
We
good.
like key lime pie.
Mm-hmm. Trying to learn
Uh,
about.
and so I do it on occasion, but
Yeah, same.
I kind of, I can't stand, like, I can taste sugar in salad dressing and I get very upset.
I'm an oil and vinegar, straight oil and vinegar for my salad since I was 10.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Back to the steaks because I'm fascinated.
Mm.
And it's a special time when I order one. Do you do like Béarnaise sauce? Do you do peppercorn, or how do you like your steak?
I usually just eat it neat, but occasionally, if they suggest, like you said, a sauce, and usually some of these finer places have 4 or 5 options, and I'll say, you give me one, I'll dabble in it.
Right,
And so yeah, but generally no. Generally, I go because usually there's such a great butter salt quality to it, and that's
right,
how I cook mine on the stove with olive oil for half. Then when I flip it, I throw a big chunk of butter, so then you get that
yeah,
combination there.
yeah.
It's just perfect. You don't need to do anything to it. So yeah, and usually when I go out though, I'm mainly a steak is a home game for me. I tend to eat
Yes. Okay,
when
that's
I
smart. That's
yes.
smart.
Because when I go on the road, I can't make Chilean sea bass from my grocery store. So usually I get it because not every place has it, but I'll get Chilean sea bass 80% of the time when I go out if they have it.
Right. I like that. I like the vibe, obviously, of a steakhouse. It's magical, the
Yes.
booths and everything, but the steak prices are astronomical.
$130.
Yeah,
That's what you doing.
and I'll cook at home. So I used to, when I was in my 20s and 30s, I'd go rare
Mm.
or medium rare. Now I go medium. Well, what do
Yeah.
you do with your steak?
Funny. I went the other way. I was always a medium guy.
Yeah.
But now I realize nothing worse than someone who goes medium plus. So maybe go medium rare because the steak does still cook a bit after you
Yes, it
get it,
does.
especially
Yeah.
on the hot plate. They give it to you on the hot plate to keep it warm. So I've kind of gone backwards. When I was younger, uh, medium rare or even rare, my insides were not formed yet, weren't
Right.
cast iron. I was too much of a innocent young Midwest boy with a tummy, you know, raised on Franco-American spaghetti and Hamburg. My mom would throw before Little League games.
Right. There's a favorite restaurant I have in Carmel, L'Escargot, and I know the owner chef, and he makes beef Wellington, which is a
Mm.
filet mignon inside of a puff pastry, and he only will make it rare. So the
Yeah.
waiter says, if you want it medium, just don't cut it. Don't open it yet. Don't open the puff pastry. It's still cooking.
Yeah. Good to
So,
know.
so that's what I do. Um, uh, okay. I heard you say, I think you said bourbon. Is that what you said? Is that your drink?
Yeah. I'm a brown, definitely a brown guy. My leadoff hitter used to always be Negroni, though. Like that was
Oh,
always that
okay.
was my Ricky Henderson. I'd go out and start because it is gin and it's hard. But I love the Campari, the Italian liqueur. But
Yeah.
it's a harsh drink. It gets you in. It gets your attention. Put it that
Yeah.
way for what we're trying to accomplish tonight. And so that was all. That was always my leadoff hitter. But now I've switched in the last 2-3 years. I'm now an espresso martini. That's my Ricky Henderson
Okay.
now. I can drink caffeine any time of the day, and I will go to bed like a baby. It does not affect my sleep. So just
So,
the
yeah.
espresso martini and just the glass, the whole present. To me, it's a moment. It's a moment. It builds the aura. Negroni was more 46 Chicago Bear defense. We're coming off the edge. We're going to slam you in the face. Espresso martini is a little more tactical. It's John Wooden. It just kind of puts you in this peaceful, a little bit of exciting Italian vibe.
Okay. Now, I was very close with my father, and I'm close with my brother,
Hmm.
and we disagree. We disagree a lot on things.
Right.
Kreger's has said to America, don't ever order an espresso martini. Too much sugar and the caffeine, don't do it. I just do.
Right.
I do vodka. I don't even
Yep.
do. I rarely do vermouth.
Well, vodka's
So-
in espresso martini.
Yes, but I'm saying
Okay.
you don't need the extra stuff. It's
Don't need
very
don't
bad.
need the Baileys and the caffeine
It's
and
very
espresso.
bad.
Gotcha.
So here's just tell me what you think of this, because I'm fascinated by the bourbon. So in my 20s, and my dad would, he still drank a little tiny bit at the end, a little
Yep.
vodka at the very end of the night, but very little. And for some reason, he just drank it warm. He just wanted a little burn in his mouth. He lived to be 87.
Nice.
And I said to him once, God, I started drinking vodka in my 30s. He goes, yeah, I just had beer and wine in my 20s. I go, wow, that's wild.
Hmm.
And because his generation, they drank, and he smoked cigarettes since he was 17. He quit when he was 34. He's from New York, New Jersey. And in my 30s, I would have vodka gimlets with the Rose's lime juice, and that's sugar. So I cut that out. So all I drink now is red wine and vodka martinis, occasionally with vermouth. I don't do the gin, and that's
Okay.
it. The dark stuff I feel it the next day, even though my favorite drink is single malt scotch, one ice cube, Lagavulin 16, Macallan, even Lefroy, very peaty. So all the young kids drink bourbon. It's a little sweet for me, John. I don't know.
Yeah, my dad was a beer only drinker growing up. He lived in 90. So
Whoa.
yeah, good run,
Good.
just beer, and then a little bit of red wine, like yourself. I couldn't drink beer as a kid. I would get bloated. I don't know what it was. It was like liquid bread. So I didn't really drink in high school, and then in college I did a little like Jack Daniels because it was cheap.
Yeah.
And then the career starts, and I'm not making any. I'm making 18,000 a year on Cape Cod. I tell people I made $100,000 in my 20s. My entire 20s combined, I made $104,000. So I couldn't afford to drink.
Right.
And then I got the Crown Royal. So I went from Jack Daniels to Little Crown Royal.
Right.
And then a 2014 Frozen Four in Philadelphia, Four Seasons. That's where ESPN put us up for the Frozen Four NCAA hockey tournament championship. I'm calling the game, and they didn't have any Crown guys. This guy said, "You should try this Bullet bourbon." I go, "Bourbon? I had never had bourbon."
Yeah.
I mean, I'm 40 years old. I never had bourbon.
Right.
So I was like, and then when it hit my lips, maybe it was just the time and place. I was like, everything changed for me, and from that moment on, I've been a bourbon guy.
Yeah.
It's just
Poppy
what it
Van
does.
Winkle. I've got a bottle of Poppy Van Winkle.
Had a 12-year last week on Nantucket. How about that sentence? I had a 12-year Pappy on Nantucket last week. Pennsylvania Bucci never thought he'd utter that sentence. I tell you that. I don't know what any of it was, Nantucket or Pappy.
Right. Yeah. I'm glad it doesn't. You kind of are bulletproof with the red meat and the eggs and the bourbon.
Yeah, so far. Far.
That's amazing. I will tell you, there's just this bartender turned me on to something, and I think I've talked about it on the pod before, but so I only drink vodka martinis and red wine. And I have a friend up in San Francisco, a lawyer friend who's in his early 40s, and he loves gin martinis, and he sends pictures because he travels the world representing criminals, I think is what he said. I think he's actually does, but he's secretive of it. But a bartender said, here, try this drink. It's called The Last Word. And I'd never heard of it. and it's gin, but you can use other alcohols. And it's got one of the main thing is green chartreuse.
Ooh.
And I drink it, I sip it. I've only had it a couple times, but it doesn't taste too sweet. It almost feels like I'm having a green juice in the morning. And I mentioned it to my lawyer friend, and he goes, "That's my favorite drink. I never told you about it." And then he sends me his chartreuse collection, which is all these bottles of green chartreuse. But it's kind of fun if you ever want to try it after dinner sometime. It's called
The Last Word.
The Last Word.
All right.
And it's not too sweet. It's good.
That's why I don't like old fashions, because they're too sweet for me.
Way too sweet. All that
way
sugar.
Too sweet. So if anything, I might do it if it's hot and your summer day. Okay, give me Manhattan's on the rocks. You can do if you do it right, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's much better than old fashioned. But
yes.
But in its purest sense, bourbon, no ice to me. I tell people my delayed gateway drug to bourbon was NyQuil. I loved the NyQuil burn as a kid, the green flavored when I was the stuffy cold. I loved it. Most kids hated it. I liked it. Yeah. And I don't know. I just felt like first of all, I thought it was doing something. It felt tangibly, it was already doing its job for the burn and sting. So now this is why I like bourbon, because I love NyQuil at age 9.
They have the NyQuil. It helps you sleep, correct? That's what it does, right?
It does. Yeah,
which is an important topic to me. Do you sleep well? Do you get 8 hours, 7 hours?
Interesting question, because I have recently committed myself to sleep.
Okay.
I felt like it was going to be a long-term issue. Whatever time I went to bed, I would wake up 4.5 hours later, whatever time I went to bed. So bedtime didn't really matter for me. But I think it was years of ESPN, late night, everything, the blue light, the whole thing. So I got myself one of the little red light therapy desk things that stand up on your desk. It's only about a foot high.
Yeah.
And what I do is I stare at that after the end of the day. I stare at that for 15 minutes. And since I've started doing that, take my magnesium, go to bed, and I've been sleeping better. Like I'm getting deep dreams again, which means I'm getting deep REM, right?
Yeah.
For brain restoration. So yes, that's a recent breaking story development for me, is committing myself. I would love I still can't seem to get more than 6, but it's better sleep for sure. But I want to get to 7 and 8. I'm hoping this red light can help me. And not as much late night drinking, Craigster, I got to tell you.
Yeah. That'll interrupt. It's weird because I only drink once a week or once every 10 days. I cut down. I feel better, but
that's what I'm going to do too.
Yeah. But there are times when I eat a big Italian meal, red wine, and it knocks me out, and it's good. I actually sleep well. And other times it's inconsistent. I'll have a vodka, and then it'll be interrupted and stuff. So fascinating. You just said magnesium, and I don't know why I didn't discover this earlier, but I do take it at night, and it definitely helps. Because I've tried melatonin, which it makes me too groggy, and valerian root's decent, but the head coach of the Timberwolves, Chris Finch, I know him, and he says he has no problem falling asleep, but like a lot of us, after 4 or 5 hours. And then he's up and he can't fall back to sleep. And I had a friend I worked with who was a malcontent, and I would sometimes say, I didn't get my sleep, because I always like to announce how I'm feeling. If I feel like I've rested or not, it feels good to say I'm a little tired. My brother says I always say I'm tired. But anyways, the malcontent was like, "Oh, you don't sleep well. What's wrong? Oh, you got a problem?" And I want to say, no, I love life, and I have a agile mind, and I wake up refreshed after 5 hours. I go, "Oh, that felt good."
Yes.
And I'm thinking of fun things and creative things. There's no torment here. But I wish I get 7. I usually fall asleep again. I get 7 to 8, but I have a interruption of 2 hours in the middle of the night, and then I fall back to sleep. I do wear a sleep mask.
I just got one myself.
Okay.
That could be a game changer, especially on the East Coast. The sun comes up at 4 a.m. in the summer here, because we're in the extreme eastern part of the Eastern time zone.
Yeah. That's I don't know what that red thing is you're talking about, so I have to look into that.
Yeah, it's red light therapy. So what it does, in the morning, you put both switches on. It's bright because you want to reset your circadian rhythm, right? So right away, you want to get light in your eye as soon as you can when you wake up, because then you're telling your brain, hey, don't forget, in about 9-10 hours, it's time to sleep again. And then all day long, you're looking at your phone, looking at TV, then you're getting too much blue light. So then you just put the one switch on at night. It's not the bright one where you have to close your eyes. You can actually look at it.
Right.
and just look, and it takes out the blue light. So then they were like, oh, now it's time to sleep. And again,
Interesting.
maybe it's placebo, maybe, but I feel it's
Yeah.
working for me.
I like that you're thinking these things through, and I like how your brain works because it looks like you're kind of passionate about a few things. I'm going to eat eggs because I know eggs are good for me, and I'm not going to stop. I'm John Buccigross, and I go for it. I know what I'm doing. I think I have some other follow-up questions as I'm thinking of things uh, um, from a food. I'm going back to food.
Okay.
I don't eat a lot of carbs, so I try to avoid gluten. I'm a slender gentleman, but as we like to say, even slender people might have fat pockets somewhere. So I love my mashed potatoes. I've rediscovered mashed
Oh,
potatoes.
the
Go ahead.
best.
I just heard a noise. What are your thoughts on mashed potatoes?
It's just a slab of butter and pepper and mashed potato. It's like literally right now, it's one of those things. And for some reason, a salad with oil and vinegar, salt and pepper. I'm not a salad guy,
Right.
but for some reason, the thought of that makes my mouth water. And mashed potatoes is one of those rare things. Even though I like
Yeah.
other things better,
Yeah.
ma- mashed potato is mom. It's warm. It's just phenomenal. My
Yeah.
body kind of runs. I was always a hard gainer. Had a hard time gaining weight. Right now, I'm
Yeah.
actually 6'4", 208, which is a lot for me.
Hey,
I
that's a
was.
lot for you. I read 192 on the internet.
I know. I'm now 208.
Oh,
I, I'm hope
chunkers.
I'm hoping most of it's muscle because I go to the gym very early every day. I love lift. That's like my new sport now because I'm always win. I always leave the gym better than I thought. I listen to great. I love making playlists. I love music. Music's been a big part of my life. So I love making playlists, formulating playlists. What song goes into this song? Oh, Valerie by Steve Winwood to Everybody Wants to Rule the World. That is perfect.
Oh.
The DNA works. So I love making a baseball lineup type of playlist and listening in the gym. The energy of other people. I like seeing old people really go for it. Other people really trying to lose weight. Like that really, I like that energy I get at the gym. It really inspires me throughout the day.
Does anyone say that you remind them of Tony Robbins? No, I'm just kidding.
He's a
I love your
gigantic
passion.
man. I am
Yes,
a passionate guy. Yeah.
I like that. So I was going to ask you if you worked out because my brother and I have lifted weights since we were kids, and I'm a skinny guy where nothing really happens. And of course, my brother is more muscular than
Yeah.
I am and has beautiful calves.
We're
Um,
ectomorphs. Yes.
yes. What'd you say?
We're ectomorphs.
There you go, man. Good
It's
job.
hard as
You have
opposed to a mesomorph who
mesomorph.
they look at a weight and they get muscle.
Yeah,
We
exactly.
have to lift it for 9 hours. I might get a little bit.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm a big fan of Omaha Steaks, and now they have a cool new item called the Smash Burger. I love them. They're built for the grill. You can flip them and they don't fall apart. So tasty. I make my smash burgers with toasted sourdough bread and a slice of cheddar cheese. And I just got another order of Omaha Steaks, including the new smash burgers and also some salmon. Yes, they have salmon. A little surf and turf for Kilby. There's nothing better than grilling in the summertime. And I've said it before. When I was growing up, we would get Omaha Steaks and we would grill. And that's when the life gorgeous started for me. Grilling in the backyard, Omaha Steaks with my dad. Omaha Steaks has been America's original butcher since 1917, a family-owned company with over 100 years of expertise in the meat industry. Every steak is perfectly aged to maximize tenderness and hand-cut by master butchers. Bring home the world's best steak experience with Omaha Steaks. Visit omahasteaks.com. And for an extra $35 off, use promo code GORGEOUS at checkout. That's omahasteaks.com. And for an extra $35 off, use promo code GORGEOUS at checkout. See site for details. Coming up is the top 5 movies shortly, and then we're going to play the Life Gorgeous quiz, which I very much enjoy. So you mentioned music. So I'm going to just guess some music that you listen to as a white kid from the Midwest and stuff. So so the guys in my, I listened to soul music, rhythm and blues. I didn't really listen to white rock and roll too much until I got older. But did you like REO Speedwagon? They were big in my high school. I'm a couple years older than you.
that's Babe Ruth baseball era for me. So
Yeah,
that was a moment in time. But yeah, they were pop. To me, they were just a straight pop radio band by the
yeah.
time I got them.
What do you listen to now?
I'm all over the place. I really do. I had a lot of rhythm and blues in my background, which always surprises people. They look at people like us,
Yeah,
men like us. They don't think we have that kind of soul, but we do.
yeah.
And so, yeah, no, I mean, go back like the Isley Brothers, that
Oh
kind of
yeah.
music. Just that's like a whole that's
Between the
like
sheets. Yeah,
oh,
yeah,
all of it. Ashford and Simpson.
yeah.
So yeah, so that's but I loved it all. I was mainly pop growing up, yes, for sure. Pop music in the 70s and 80s, growing up in the Midwest. But yeah, I went through a hip hop stage in the, Run DMC. I'm the king of rock, there ain't none higher. Sucker MC used to call me sire to floor my kingdom, you must use fire, I won't stop rocking till I retire. And I know that whole album. Then
Right.
country music, early 90s. Country music, the best music in the late 80s, early 90s was country and hip hop. Those were the two best genres at that time. So that's why
I
I didn't get into grunge was too and
yeah,
I woke up happy every day in the 20s. Grunge
yeah,
wasn't for me. I
yeah.
missed the grunge.
I didn't listen to country, but I do. We were we were up in Carmel at Clint's place, the Mission Ranch, and a few years back, and it was they have a karaoke, and I don't sing, but my brother sings, and he was going to sing a song, and Glenn Campbell had passed 2 weeks
Oh,
earlier.
what
I
a
said, sing
legend.
Wichita Lineman because
Oh,
it's one of the most beautiful songs. And
absolutely.
my brother sang Wichita Lineman.
Jimmy Dunn.
Yeah, good job. Yes, very good. Jimmy Webb, by the way. Excuse me. You mean who
Jimmy
wrote it?
Webb.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Who's
Jimmy
Jimmy
Webb.
Dunn? That's a
I don't.
golfer. Yeah,
I,
you're right. Jimmy Webb.
I'm glad. I'm
You're
glad I
right.
remembered because I was once you said Jimmy, I know.
I know.
And I'm trying to think. I'll tell you an interesting song. It's a one hit wonder. I have no
Mhm.
clue if it's country rock or soft rock
Okay.
or what it is. Called "Wildfire" by Michael
Oh,
Murphy.
Michael Murphy. She
Yeah,
came down from
yeah,
Yellow Mountain. Yeah.
yeah. What
Huge
what
hit.
what what category would that be?
That was definitely a pop song. It was a pop country song, which is Ronnie Millsap, that
Yeah,
genre, where you can
yeah,
even now, pop music lives in country. Like if you're a pop artist now, it's
yeah,
hard to get played. You have to go country. Like Elton
yeah.
John would be a country artist today. Billy Joel would be a country artist
That's
nowadays.
funny. That's funny.
That's where the genre went the last as the music industry blew up and there's no more music industry with iTunes and digital. That's where the pop music industry went.
Um, okay, John, I am very curious to
Mm.
see. It's time for your top 5 movies of all time. And I've played
There
this
won't be a
game with
list like
a
this.
what's that?
There won't be a list like
Oh,
mine.
good. I'm going to guess that I've only seen one or two of them, but because I don't see all the movies, but I do see. I'm an old soul, so I see a lot of older movies. But
Right.
go ahead. This is
I'll,
John Buccigross top 5 of all time.
all right. I'll say 3 to 4 you've definitely seen. All
Okay.
right. Um, again, I'm a different cat. I'll start number 5, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I
Yeah.
think it's the best art of 1980s movies. That's when the coddling of America began.
Yeah.
And that was like, and to me, that's the perfect 80s movie. And it's just for a high school kid, you grew up in that time, and I was 20 when it came out. So that's like sweet spot. It's fair. It really is a wonderful story and art into the psychology of a young
Yeah.
American at that
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Number 4, Bad News Bears. To me, again,
Ah,
the original 1976. This is like, the innocent age for criminals. We're like, I mean, I remember Little League Baseball about this time, jumping in the pickup truck with 8 other teammates and our coaches driving us down a highway to an ice cream place. The back of a pickup.
yeah.
Like it was like a lawlessness factor that I'm glad I experienced
Yeah.
as a young man that now kids can't even fathom now some of the stuff that we live. So just an amazing movie with amazing art and just again with a little bit of a message as well that's
Yeah.
kind of portended the future, as
Just to
well.
let you know, my friend Hank from New York has Bad News Bears in his top 5.
I'm telling you, it is art. It is art.
Yeah.
This one. I don't know if anybody has. I don't know why this movie gets me, but Stranger Than Fiction, Will Ferrell,
Uh,
2006. Emma Thompson. I'm a big fan of her.
Right.
And I just there's something about that movie just ripped me out inside, heart, soul, mind. It just got me like a
Cool.
little boutique art store.
Yeah.
Number two, again, 1992. This is an impressionable time. I just got married 91, became a dad 92. I'm making $18,000 in my cable access news operation on Cape Cod. Scent of a Woman comes out, and it makes me feel like I can
Oh,
accomplish anything. Al
right.
Pacino, those scenes where someone stands up and supports someone of lesser stature, that's what gets all the
Hmm.
feels from me. That's what
Right.
makes me weep, is when
Yeah.
those situations, he's sticking up for this kid who has no place in life. I love those moments. And that speech, it just gets me so fired up. If I'm going to try to get my max bench press at the gym, I'm
Right.
watching that scene from Pacino, and I will get 250 for one more time. Still bench my 22-year-old 225 for two. I can still get it. That was my max when I
Wow.
was 22 years old. Long
Wow.
arms, so it's harder
Yeah,
for us long arm guys.
it
And,
is.
and again, another one here. This is again, I know, again, just because of the intensity, the competition, and at this point, the family aspect, the child, Lawrence Fishburne, searching for Bobby Fischer for
Oh,
me gets me every time. It's just 1993 again. So a lot of mine are because of where I was in life and how it affects me in an emotional way. I'm a
yeah.
youngie. I was emo before emo was kind of even invented. So these types of things are what move me as a movie
Right.
watcher.
Right. That's a great list. That's a great list. And I always appreciate when people are pretty passionate and take it seriously. So, just because I haven't done it in a while, I haven't done the top 5 movies because I've had repeat guests on during the Timberwolf season. I have
Yeah.
the guys from Minnesota on the local media, and we talk Wolves. The Wolf season is over, by the way, so
Yes. Yes.
I can move forward. But I'm going to tell you what my top 5 are,
I
even
love
though
it.
I usually don't. I usually name 4 and rotate a fifth.
I
So
understood.
yeah, so I'm a Hitchcock fan, so I name one, North by Northwest.
Hmm.
Uh, I don't know if you've ever seen Sunset Boulevard with William Holden, but that's I'm ready for my close up. It's a
Yeah.
classic movie. I like older movies. Chinatown from the 70s with
Yep.
Jack Nicholson, Faye Dunaway. The Graduate is on my list.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
And then I rotate, I used to say Tootsie because I like that comedy. I say Sideways sometimes. That's a more
Mm,
contemporary movie. So those are my 5. But I grew up, my dad, we just watched a lot of old movies.
yeah.
And
My
so
dad was a
that's
Western guy. Josie Wales, Outlaw Josie Wales would have been
one
my
of the
dad's
best
top
Clint
five.
movies.
Yes.
Unforgiven is supposed to be the best, but
Mm,
I'm a Clint fan. Uh, I rewatch In the Line of Fire. I
mm,
rewatch Gran Torino, that kind of
yep.
stuff.
Yes. In his
Um,
prime, Josie Wales.
uh, by the way, before we finish up here, where are you? It looks bucolic. It looks
Look at this. Look at
beautiful.
the skies. I call that a Simpsons sky. The Simpsons. I love that cloud formation. I'm in Plymouth, Massachusetts, where the Pilgrims landed in 1620. On my little beach. I'm about 7 minutes, like a 7 minute walk to the ocean. Beautiful private beach that goes down these big cliffs and stairs. It's gorgeous here in Plymouth, Massachusetts.
Is this a rental or you own this
No,
place?
I
Or
own. It's my parents. I bought it. My dad ran out of money a couple years before he died. Never had a pension. So
right?
live till if you live till 90 and don't have a pension, you will run out of money. You can't pay your property tax anymore. I said, Dad, I'll buy it. You keep the remote control, the master bedroom. You're still the king of your castle, but I'll buy it and take care of care of it.
Yeah.
So this is now mine. I'm fixing her up.
Oh, that's great.
I'm
That's
on my
great.
new farmer's porch. I'm a big farmer's porch fan, Craigster, and so I
Yeah.
just complete. I got the Sonos speakers. I can play my Nat King Cole. Have my little bourbon.
Oh,
I'm a big Nat King Cole fan.
so
So
I'm a Nat King Cole. I tell people Sinatra's 1A, Nat King Cole is 1B. They want to say the greatest. I love the song Candy. Do you know the song Candy or not by
no,
Nat King Cole?
I do not know that
It's
one.
a little different tempo.
Is
You'll
that a deep
remember it.
Capitol record cut?
Yeah, you'll like it. You
So his
Candy.
greatest hits, like his standard 10 greatest hits, I know I can sing by heart all
Well,
10.
Stardust is about as good as it gets, but he
Hmm.
covered, that was a
Nature Boy. I'm a Nature
Nature
Boy
Boy.
guy.
Yeah. Um, um, oh, front porch. So my friend, he says we used to be a front porch society. Now we're a
That's
back
what I'm trying to bring
patio.
back. That's what
Yeah.
I'm trying to bring it back. I want people to come up. My mom's 93 and a half. I take care of her as well here. So I really build for her to sit here, and maybe people will see her on the stick and come, "Hey, Mary, how you doing?" And then have a little chat. That's
Yeah.
what I want because
Yeah.
she's. So that was my motivation to build this.
That's great. All right, here it is. The Life Gorgeous quiz. Simple questions, profound insights.
One more thing. I wanted to, because
Yes.
I did my homework for this. I wanted to compare your Sports Center run, which was short,
3 years.
but amazing. And like to me, I was trying to think of athletes that you're compared to your run, and I came up with Andrew Toney, Gail Sayers, who only played 60
very
NFL
talented.
games, only
Very
60
talented.
games in the
Yeah.
Hall of Fame. Little Joe Charbonneau, and then also just a little, although you were probably better in the Butch Weiniger. Your career was a little
Butch
better.
Weiniger.
Second rookie of the year, and he had a good run, and then he just after that, then but your Sports Center run, you were a shooting star. You're a
Thank you,
Haley's
sir.
Comet.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, I wanted to do late night. I did it, and that was great, and I loved it. I just have a quick Butch Weiniger story because he played for the Twins. He played for the Twins.
Catcher.
Yes.
Still got his rookie card.
And the owner his name was Calvin Griffith. He was the owner of the Twins. And he didn't spend a lot of money, but anyway.
No.
So they show Butch Weiniger. The B-roll is Butch Weiniger practicing, catching, doing his thing. And then there's the voiceover. Butch Weiniger loves the game of baseball so much, he'd play for free. Then they show Calvin Griffith, and he goes, I really like that kid. I really like that kid.
Oh, that's good.
Anyways, Butch Weiniger. All right.
Okay.
Life Gorgeous quiz. First concert. Do you remember your first concert?
Oh, my gosh. The first official concert. Now, he was warming up for the main act, but it was Julian Lennon, not John Lennon. Julian Lennon. Again, I grew up not going to concerts. I didn't know how to go to a concert. Grew up in rural Ohio. How do you go to a concert? Where do I buy a ticket? I didn't know how to do it. But in my college, coming in New England, Julian Lennon, I think he opened up for the outfield. So, but it was officially Julian Lennon. Not good.
That's great.
So my 4-year-old daughter, I took her when she was 4. She's now 31. I took her to see Paul Simon. I go, you're going to see a legend. Your answer to a Craig Coburn podcast question of first concert is not going to be Julian Lennon. It's going to be Paul Simon.
Oh, that's good.
That was my motivation.
That's good. Very nice. I like how quickly you remembered it. What do you think of crumbled blue cheese?
Oh, I was always upset because when you go to Ruby Tuesdays or Pizza Hut, they always had the crumbled blue cheese next to the applesauce. I'm a big applesauce guy, and there were remnants of the blue cheese in the applesauce, and it frustrated me to no end. That's what I think of crumbled blue cheese.
That's hilarious. So I assume you're not a blue cheese fan then.
But it's one of those things, I don't know if I've actually tried it.
Okay. Wow.
I was finicky as a kid. Now I'll eat anything. I down oysters like you wouldn't think I would down.
Yeah.
That's the biggest upset of the 21st century is Bucci eating oysters.
By the way, back to the Italian, and we didn't really talk chicken parm because I never order chicken parm. When I go Italian, I don't eat a pasta because of the carbs.
Mm-hmm.
I usually get the veal, which I know some people think is controversial, but I get the veal scallopini, I get the marsala, I get the the lemon the capers, but I rarely get the parm. I do get I want to run this by you.
Yeah.
As an appetizer, I rarely do it as an entree. Princess Cherry and we love eggplant parm. Now, obviously, they fry it and then bake it, but some people will just bake it, which I prefer because it's not fried. What do you think of eggplant parm?
Yeah, that's not my jam, man.
Okay.
But like if I go out and they have veal, I get the veal every time.
Yeah. Okay.
It's healthier and tastier.
If you want me to cut that out, I will, because everyone people are uptight.
Well, when I'm home, I make the chicken parm, and I make it outstanding. I really have perfected it because you have to use flour, then the batter, then the seasoning, and you cook it at 515 degrees for 12 minutes. Hot and quick. That's how you cook chicken. There's a good cheat code. Chicken at home, whether it's just baked chicken in the oven with some barbecue sauce, real hot, shorter time frame. Wow. It's juicy.
Fascinating.
I know, Ryan. I like a shareable bolognese as an appetizer for an Italian meal. Let's get the bolognese, but we'll cut it in half and make it our app, and then get what you want. I'll get what I want.
Well, I like to try bolognese. I do.
Yeah,
I do like to try that. Surprised you didn't mention Goodfellas or The Godfather, but that's okay.
Which are phenomenal. Right.
Yeah. Do you do a Chris Berman impression?
So I do it via a quick story. Stanley Cup Finals. He used to travel to the Stanley Cup Finals before we lost it in '04. It was on ABC, so he would go do the wraps right for
Yeah.
the Stanley Cup Finals. So we did a little NHL Tonight Show on ESPN2 at 2 a.m. We also travel. We do a little half-hour recap. So they would the main guys on the ABC would do a quick 3-minute segment for our show after they were all done. They probably don't want to do this. They've been there all night. Berman definitely doesn't want to be there. Devils. Ducks '03. So we're staying in New York City. So Berman wants to get to New York City at 11 o'clock. So he does the whole segment. Let's go back to the studio in John Buccigross. So it's not grass. There's no A in my name. But him and John Saunders always call me Buccigross. So the producer, Jeff Ross, goes, Chris, we need to do that again. You said Buccigross. You could do that whole 3-minute segment again. Not long, but he's been working all day and night. He presses his little button and says to our producer, they know who we mean. Meaning I'm not going to do it again. I'm going to New York. So if I ever appear on the Scott Van Pelt show and you happen to be watching, he always says, we're joined now by John Buccigross. They know who we mean. It's from that story. So it's a good banquet story to have. Little, and so, yeah, so that's my one Chris Berman story, telling that story. They know who we mean.
Boom swah. Boom swah.
Hey, what? Yeah.
I always had nice chats with Boomer. He was
he always gave you 100% Chris Berman every time.
Yeah.
I would sign contract extensions in my 28 years at ESPN. I don't know how he found out. I get a voicemail. When people stopped leaving voicemails in 2012, I would still get a voicemail. Bucci, I heard you signed a new deal. Congratulations. Fold them again.
That's great. That's great.
Just phenomenal. So that he would actually leave a voicemail.
Yeah. I would do the silly lead-ins. Too much of anything is not good for you, baby. I can't remember if it was Shakespeare or Barry White who said too much of anything is not good for you, baby. and then I would, make it be about somebody doing a lot of, whatever, a guy having a lot of assists or a lot of points.
Right.
Would make it make sense. And the next day I walk in and Bob Lee goes, nice lead in about Barry White and Shakespeare. Bob Lee was very supportive. I love that.
That's great. Bob was sneaky fun. Very fun.
Yeah. Final question. One of my favorites. It's a food question. It's a food question. Now, I hope it's not one of those things where you go, I don't eat these things, but it's pretty common.
Okay.
Top 3 sandwiches of all time. Top 3 sandwiches.
Oh, I'm sorry. Just a well-made, perfect grilled cheese is just, it's the greatest comfort Midwest food of all time.
Grilled cheese is amazing. And at some of the gourmet restaurants, they have grilled cheese night where they use different cheeses. And
usually they have too much bread in those ones. It's too much bread. I want more cheese than bread. But I mean, just
you should use sourdough. You should use sourdough. I only eat 2 types of bread, rye and sourdough. Anyways, go ahead.
I just started buying I'm a sourdough only guy myself. When you read the ingredients of a loaf of bread, my God, how are we still alive?
Yeah.
But it's amazing. But yeah, so to me a grilled cheese is the perfect. I mean, peanut butter and jelly, again, same thing. Like who does it? And there's a golf course called Fisher's Island off the coast of New York. It's part of New York. It's under Connecticut, but Long Island goes for a long way. And they have some of these fancy golf courses like to have a staple food that kind of their signature thing. It can be fun, it can be elaborate, but there out on the course while you play is coolers of peanut butter, jelly, and bacon sandwiches.
That's sinful.
It is sinful. That's perfectly said. And then my third sandwich, boy, that's you go all over the board. But for me, again, if it's well made and it's almost like seafood, but like just a good tuna fish sandwich, feels like that's because it's kind of cool, which I like. It's like where the grilled cheese is warm, peanut butter and jelly is kind of room temperature. You get a little of a chill of a good crunchy tuna fish with a perfect amount of lettuce, not too much. I don't need a tomato.
Yeah.
But yeah. Again, that's my point about chicken parm. It's a between the tackles meal. When you're hungry and need to be satiated, you won't ever get a terrible chicken parm. It'll always be at least good, sometimes amazing, but always good. And sometimes you need 4 yards and a cloud of dust for your appetite when you just want to get satiated. Because I get hangry.
Yeah, that's a good list. Especially off the top of your head, because I think about my list and I have time. So I'll just quickly give you my list. The number one for me, I don't have anymore really, because it's maybe not the healthiest, but a Reuben sandwich.
Wow, that is
Because
so
I
late 70s
yeah,
Midwest.
I
Yeah.
like sauerkraut. So
Okay.
with the pastrami or the corned beef, I love
Mm.
that. I have one cold one. I do like chicken salad a lot, and I put it on
Interesting.
rye. You
Ah,
got to have the cheese and the lettuce, but you have to have the red onions. You have to have red onions.
yes.
And then the third one, controversial, tuna
Mm.
melt. Tuna melt.
I had one last week. It's hard to eat. It was a post round of golf tuna melt, and I looked like I was at war. Like I started to get self conscious because the member who hosted us is looking at me trying to eat this tuna melt, and it's going everywhere. So
Okay,
yes.
so I mentioned this is so funny. I had Russillo on a few times, but I mentioned that tuna melt. What was one of mine, and he said the way his brain. He goes, well, you're not going back to work after that.
Yeah, next time I'm taking my shirt off because like you need to eat that thing maybe nude. It may need to be consumed while naked. That's the best, most comfortable way. Because
Oh,
I'm gonna need to shower after this.
oh my God, that's so
And
funny.
I think all this conversation, Craig, about health food and eating right for us.
Yeah.
My goal was to play 9 holes of golf at age 100. That is truly.
Oh,
I'm serious. Like if I ever start a podcast, it'll be the 9 holes at 100 podcast. Just like you said, with attitude, spirit, friends. Because the most important health thing you can do for yourself is having lots of friends. It's like those.
yes.
That's the best thing for your health by far. Is close friends, close family interactions. We're humans. We're social animals. We need each other. So that's the most important part. Then from there, get our sleep, our red light, our magnesium, our lift weights. So you cannot lift weights. Deadlift to as long as you can deadlift.
It's funny you say the friends thing because Princess Cherry tells me that, and I'm kind of an independent guy. I have friends. I mean,
So am I.
everyone wants to hang with Kilby. We get it. But
I'm an introvert by nature. I am. I'm
yeah,
the same way. I'm fine by myself. I don't get depressed and sad.
I like
Um,
talking to myself in my club chair. It's just fun. I have my hand mirror. I look at myself. Anyways, John, it was a joy. Thank you, sir. I'm going to give you a list of places
that.
when you come to LA. And if we're both free, we'll grab a drink. I don't know what your schedule is. I don't know if I'm in town because we take off all the time, but we'll figure it out.
All right. Well, the night of the 26th, that's my available time. So for some reason, I will go anywhere you are the night of June 26th. The
June
draft is June
26th.
27th. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Craig. Much respect.
That's our show. I want to thank John Buccigross. And we'll see you next time. Remember, young people, I'm proud of you.